Hi Year 3, it's Miss Allen here. I'm here with a maths video today and we're looking at angles this week. So the learning challenge is, can you identify whether angles are greater than or less than a right angle? Now, in order to do this, we need to know what an angle is. So I've got the definition here of what an angle is. So it's the space between two intersecting lines at the point where they meet. So if you think about two lines and they meet together, and it's the space, you measure that space between where they meet together, and it's measured in degrees, and that's what an angle is. So in our learning challenge, we want to know angles that are greater than or less than a right angle. Now we need to know what a right angle is. I wonder if you can remember from when we've done it before. A right angle is a 90-degree angle. So I've drawn one here. Might not be 90 degrees because I didn't have my protractor, but it looks like 90 degrees. And the way we can tell it's a right angle is because it has this box. Instead of normally, if I look down here, this one's got a little circle in, like a half moon. This one's got a box, so we know that that's a right angle. It's 90 degrees, and it's also the same as a quarter turn. So if you think about when we do turns, we'll be doing that later on in the week. A half turn is 180 degrees, and a quarter turn is 90 degrees. So a quarter turn is the same as a right angle. So what do we do though when an angle is less than or greater than that? Because we know what a right angle is, but there's lots of angles, and some could be bigger or smaller than that. So here we go. So an angle that is less than 90 degrees is called an acute angle. And this is an example of an acute angle. So you can tell it's less than 90 degrees because the right angle looks a bit like half of a box, doesn't it? Half of a square. It's just not filled in. Whereas an acute angle is quite small and it's less than 90 degrees. An angle bigger than 90 degrees is called an obtuse angle. So I've drawn one there. So you can see it's bigger than the right angle. It goes further round, and that's what an angle bigger than 90 degrees is called, obtuse. So what I'm going to do now is go around my house because there are angles everywhere. So you will be able to find angles all around your house. And what I'm going to use to help me with this is find a piece of paper. So I've got one here. I've cut it down, but I'm making sure that I'm not using the side that I've cut, because as a piece of paper is made, it's perfectly at right angles. Whereas if I cut it, I probably won't cut it in a right angle. So you need to make sure you use the edge that's of the paper was before. So I'm using this edge. And what I'm going to do is look around my house for some angles, and then we can measure them, see if they're right angles, see if they're acute angles, and see if they're obtuse angles. Okay, so I found an angle here on my door. We've got lots of them actually. So I'm just going to measure this angle here. I can already kind of guess what I think this angle is because, as you can see, it's a square shape. So I feel like it's going to be a right angle, but I'm just going to use my right angle checker just to check that it is. Yep, and look, it fits perfectly in there. So we know that this angle, this space here, is a right angle. And it will probably be the same if you go all the way around because it's a square. So I've got a piece of wiring on my wall that, is decorative, and it's got a lot of angles in it. So I'm going to see if I can measure this angle here. So the space between these two bits of wire there. So what I'm going to do is put and look, I can't see the rest of the other line anymore because it's hidden behind my angle finder. So that must mean it can't be 90 degrees, because if it was 90 degrees, I'd measure all the way along there and it'd measure all the way down, but it's behind there, isn't it? So it must be an acute angle. So that's what you do when you're measuring it. You make sure that at least your top of your angle finder is in line with one of the lines, and then, like we say, we can't see it, so it must be less than 90 degrees, so it's an acute angle. Okay, so I found this clock in my living room, and it's a hexagon shape, so it's got 6 sides. So thinking about our right angle, we know a right angle looks like a square, so a square has got 4 right angles going all the way around. As its shape has more sides, the angles are going to become bigger. So a hexagon, I think, has got to be an obtuse angle, but we're just going to use our angle finder to check. So remember what we need to do. I'm going to measure this angle here. So make sure you choose the angle first. Then I'm going to place my angle finder against one of the lines of the angle. So I've placed it against that one. Now, if it was a right angle, it'd go down and across, and it'd go exactly with my piece of paper, but it doesn't, does it? It goes all the way over there. So that must mean that this angle is more than 90 degrees. 90 degrees is there and it goes all the way there. So it must be an obtuse angle. Okay, so I found this utensil in my kitchen, and if you put them out like this, they make a really nice angle. So I'm going to measure this angle here. So what I'm going to do is get my angle finder, put it against one of the lines. So if it was a right angle, it would come all the way down here, but it's not, it's underneath there. So that must mean, because I can feel it here, if I make a little mark, you can see it there, look. So it must be less than 90 degrees, because it's not here and it's not more than. If it was more than, it would be obtuse. It must be less than 90 degrees, so it must be acute. Okay, so now I've got a knife holder. Now I took all the knives out, you know, just in case I drop one, a bit unsafe. But anyway, it's got lots of angles all the way around. So these lines are curved, so we can't really look at those, but it's got angles here, here, it's got angles up there, it's got angles on the back. So I thought we could measure this angle here. Now what do we think it's going to be? I'm going to take a guess that it's going to be a right angle, but let's have a look. So if I measure against one of the lines, because I've got a right angle measurer, both lines should meet up with my angle. So, oh, I think it's just less than. It is. It's just less than a right angle. There we go. So it's actually an acute angle. So I've lined up here, but the line is there. Can you see? If I make the little mark. So it's actually just less than a right angle. So this angle is acute. So that shows you, even if it looks exactly like a right angle, if you actually measure it, sometimes it's only a couple of degrees off. Okay guys, hope you enjoyed that. Let me know how you get on with your angle finding treasure hunt around your house. Hope you find lots of right angles, lots of acute angles, and lots of obtuse angles around your house. See you soon, bye.